And when Betsy.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So when Betsy joins us, we'll just recognize that she's on, but we'll get underway anyway. Okay. Good afternoon. Good evening. This is the West University Historic Zone Advisory Board. Wednesday, February 22nd. It is 6 o'clock straight up. Let's do a quick roll call. Notes here. Darcy, are you going to be able to take notes today?
Yeah. Can you guys
Awesome.
hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
I can. Okay. Damon Turner.
Present.
Rachel Sarah.
Present.
Darcy Hazelbaker.
Present.
And Rick McDonald present. So we have a quorum. Go ahead. Record that. I hope everybody had a chance to look at the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting?
Darcy Hazelbaker, I motion to approve.
A motion, a second.
Rachel Sarah, I second.
Okay. All in favor, aye. One,
Aye.
two, aye. Damon, aye.
I think I have to abstain. I missed half of it.
Oh, okay, cool. So we have 3 ayes and an abstain. Minutes are approved.
Aye.
Betsy Besnick has joined our meeting. And she said aye. All right, call to audience. Jody, do we have any call to the audience items?
We do not.
We do not. All right, so noted. Okay, so we can get on to the agenda. Item 4 on the agenda, T22 CM 06466 of 502 East University. Who is speaking for that tonight? Gabriel?
That'll be me, yes. I'm Gabriel Vargas with GGV Designs, and I'm speaking on behalf of the owner, which is Andy Brown.
All right, Gabriel. Do you want to go ahead and do you have material you want to show us? You want to take over the screen?
Absolutely. 1 second. So want to start off by giving the location of where the project is located and what area of the property we are going to be working on. There was a fire damage on the south end of the property. It's a detached structure that's currently being rented out by Mr. Brown. And so the fire is mainly going to be some repair. There is some items in the exterior that are going to be improved and I guess remodeled, reconditioned. This is a non-contributing structure as it shows on the overlay. However, presenting our repairs. Essentially what it is, it's a masonry structure. It seems like it was a garage at one point because here off of the west end, and I'm showing a picture.
Hey, Gabriel?
Yes. Yeah.
Pardon me for interrupting. You're really kind of hard to hear a little bit. I don't know if you can get close to your mic, but you're apparently breaking up. You're just sort of sound garbled a little bit.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me see. Is this any better, or do you want me to switch a microphone?
Well, what you're doing right now sounds okay. I'll let you know if we can't hear you. We got to make sure we can understand.
Okay. So the structure, do you want me to start from the beginning? I don't know how much of that you guys got.
Well, I see you've got a picture of the structure up right now. I know you were saying it was a garage at one time, but I mean, it is now a residence. You said people are,
yes,
it's rented out, but it's actually not habitable right now, right?
No, it's not habitable, and we're gonna make it habitable. But I guess what I was referring to is, I guess, based off of what my assumptions of the history of the property. Yeah, the intent of what we're doing.
Right.
It's a masonry structure with a plaster finish in the exterior. There is wood framing where there was once an opening, I'm assuming, and it was at one time shingled. It looks like there was some improvements in a recent time, and then awning was added, which kind of matches the adjacent structure. So what we're looking to do here is to repair the roof structure. I have some pictures here where we could see the damage from the interior. I'm not sure if some of you are familiar or have walked this site after the fire, but there was scorched structural members and whatnot. And so the intent is to replace the roof framing and the roofing, replace the damaged window that is on the north end, replace the door that was damaged and boarded up on the north end as well, replace the windows that are inexistent on the west face, and the owner does want to infill one of these openings that is facing the alleyway. I guess he's had several issues with homeless or just students late at night, causing some vandalism in this area. There was a AC window unit mounted on that window, and so obviously that's going to be canceled. And then there is an EVAP that was proposed, or actually that was existing for cooling this area. And in our drawings, we are proposing to remove this EVAP and put a split system AC unit. So there will be roof. Let me jump over to the drawings. And so the condensing unit and the water heater are going to be in the north area, which is actually corralled and enclosed by a fence, which you could actually see on this north end. Actually, you could barely see it. So no visible mechanical units. As far as the wood frame and the shakes, or actually it's asphalt shingles that were on that west elevation, the owner would like to stucco to match the existing adjacent plastering that's on the masonry. And I'm trying to get to these elevations. There we go. But beyond that, nothing else is proposed to be changed.
So why don't you do me a favor and scroll up to the top elevation on that sheet.
Okay. I'm trying to do. Okay, I got my
There we
mouse
go.
working.
There
Yep.
we go. Okay. All right. So you said that there's going to be one opening that's going to be enclosed, a window that has an on the south elevation.
Yes, sir. And that's the side that is facing the alleyway, which is here.
Okay, so two windows from the looks of it would be enclosed.
It would be one. Actually, I should have mentioned this. There is a party wall there right on the property line, and which essentially unions two structures, but the adjacent structure does not belong to Mr. Brown.
Oh, okay. That's not obvious from that picture. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. And actually, I could show you it, actually probably on our site plan. I
And
should have been,
your audio is sort of crappy right now too, by the way.
well, let me see if I could change my audio.
All right, while you're doing that, I see this plan view that other structure is an existing garage, and you're saying you're not planning on touching that, just the secondary residence.
Correct.
And basically, it looks like from the photos, the windows along the west side of the property are being replaced. Kind of like for like, it looks like in the photo, they used to be aluminum, maybe?
Yes, that's pretty much what was out there.
Yeah,
If I could zoom in a bit. And so it doesn't seem like it was original to, I guess, what the assessors had as a 1940 structure. And so that's why that's kind of my reasoning for assuming that it wasn't originally a detached residence.
yeah, like a garage.
Like a
Yeah,
garage.
like a
And
garage.
then they infilled that panel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So while we're on that photo, I think you said that the intent for this elevation would be that you just stucco over the whole thing. So this would all be stucco in the finish.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This was non-contributing, correct?
That's correct.
And then on the elevations you have shown of the doors, they're just shown as sort of flat doors. What's the material, and is there going to be any sort of like raised panels or?
That's an excellent question. Originally there were solid core wood doors, and so we left it as currently left it as an open spec because we figured we would run into this since it was in a historical district. And so I guess I'm not sure how to answer whether if they are appropriate or not, but I think the original intent would be coming in with a similar solid core door, which was I want to say it was a smooth panel. Actually, the front door I do not remember seeing. That one was taken off, or it was taken off, and they just had that iron door. It's been a while since I've been out there.
Well, I think we would want, and I know it's not called out on these plans right now, but for the door, some kind of panel door, raised panel, or something like that, not just a slab, solid slab.
Right.
So I think that needs to be something that needs to be called out on the door schedule, overtly called
Okay.
out. And then the windows, while we're looking at the west elevation, in fact, yeah, while we're looking at the west elevation, those two windows, what material are you proposing for that? Because that isn't called out either.
That's not called out either. But I think we could probably go back with a hung door, which would probably go more along the way of the vernacular.
Well, I was asking about the windows though. So the window material would be what?
We didn't specify one, but we could probably do like a wood cladded finish one with possibly a hung one, a hung window on actually that's a 4040. Yeah, we could do it on that one on the 4040 door, but I think the 403 would have to be a slider. I don't think they make a hung for that. So I know, so what we've done in the past is we know a guy that fabricates windows to match kind of things that I guess the original construction of the main structures, but since this is a non-conforming or non-contributing structure, I don't know to what extent we want to go with these fenestrations.
Yeah, this is Damon. I'll speak up. I think we would expect it. I mean, even though it's non-contributing, I think we would try to drive you towards something that complies with our design guide. And the design guide has some allowable materials for windows and doors. Wood, or as you point out, clad wood windows are allowed. As you point out, I think we would kind of prefer double hung windows or double or single hung windows. I see your point on the aspect ratio of the window to the left of the door. I think we also allow casement windows, so I don't know if they make a wood or a clad wood casement window in that size. And then for the door material, I think we would allow wood. And then someone else is gonna have to remind me what else we would allow.
I don't remember anything other than
Okay,
wood in the
yeah.
guidelines. Yeah,
It might just be wood.
I think it's just wood. So a solid wood door, but not a slab,
smooth.
some
Yeah,
kind of a
not a slab.
panel wood. And these things that we're talking about would have to be we're going to ask that they be called out in the door and window schedule. I would also bring up, Gabriel, I'm looking online right now at what the city has on their website for this west elevation. And the window to the left of the door is a 4040. And I see that it's 403.
Yeah, that was actually a mistake. Well, actually, I don't know.
Well, if you go to
No,
the picture,
it was a 4040.
yeah,
It was
so
a
they're both 404s.
I remember what happened too, is we had this reconfigured, the kitchen, per our discussions with Mr. Brown. And he wanted to change the kitchen because we went through probably 5 schemes with him as far as the floor plan goes. And so you're right, you are correct. This was modified and changed in size.
So the city's, the drawing that we have from the city that shows a 4040 is correct?
It's correct in its original state. So if we look at this picture, that is a 4040.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is what are you proposing?
We're proposing a 4030 because we reconfigured the kitchen in the front, I guess, towards that west wall. And so if we have a kitchen counter height of 36 inches, we would need a smaller opening to allow for outlets that are required per code.
But I think the drawings we have say a 4040. So you're just saying it's correct in the elevations, not the plan.
So I'm showing the plan here.
Oh,
It's
that one.
a
Okay.
Rio.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
different than what we have.
I'm getting a little confused because I'm looking online and at what's online, and I see in the west elevation to the right of the door what looks like is probably a 4040 window, and to the left of the door it looks like a 4030 window where the bottom was raised.
When I
That's
look
what
at the floor plan, it says a 4040.
But that's interesting, Damon, if you're looking at the west elevation sheet, which is what I'm looking at, I just called it up, and I've got 4040.
You're looking at a call out or the picture?
The picture, the west elevation on A 2.0 sheet.
Yeah,
4.
the one I'm looking at, which is also online,
Yeah, you know what? We have drawings and plans uploaded.
Yeah, there's
Like,
two versions.
They're different,
Oh,
Yeah,
because you're right. Something else now says 4030.
yeah. So we have both versions up there.
Okay, so we should be looking at the ones that are 4030. That's what you would like to do.
Correct. Yes.
So I don't think we take exception to necessarily raising that window to accommodate the interior kitchen. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak up, but
no, I don't have an issue with that. I'm just trying to make sure we're all looking at the same
Yeah.
thing.
I think we would prefer that to be a single or double hung window, probably. So I think I don't
Or
think you need to
casement.
keep, since
Sorry,
just
Dave.
based on, sorry, go ahead.
I said or casement.
Or cases.
Yeah, or casement would be fine. So I think you could go 3030, which I think they do make a casement window, or you could make it doesn't have to be 4 feet wide, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's more about the window style. So, you know, as Damon mentioned, sorry, like a casement, double hung, single hung, but no sliders. And then the other issue is we're going to need to know the materials on the windows and the doors. And then the doors can't really be a flat slab. So we'll need, you know, elevations that indicate all of the detailing that goes into that and the materials that they'll be made of.
Let me ask you this, how about, they had a security door here in the front. Would that be allowed to remain?
I don't remember what our guide said.
I think the
You guys
guide would
remember?
say yes. I'm calling it up right now, but I'm pretty sure the guide says yes. Where
Yeah.
it's the style, I think, that we have to be careful about with the security door. I'm
Okay.
looking. Well, actually, security door, I see security windows. I don't see security doors. Maybe. silent
So-
on it.
I mean, certainly they're all over the neighborhood, and I
Yeah.
think you may be trying to make the point that it kind of covers the door up, and therefore maybe we shouldn't care what the door looks like. But the short version of the story is we still care what the door looks like. And
Yeah,
I
no,
think, yeah, and I think if we could make rules, or if we could come up with like a design guide around security doors, I think we would. There are some sort of stylistic guides in the design guide that drive you towards certain sort of aesthetics, and we would probably try to drive you in a direction that's consistent with that.
I think the
Okay.
idea too behind the security, either on the window or the doors, is it's sort of something that's removable or kind of temporary, and is kind of a way of looking at it. So whereas the door, while it can also be replaced, is kind of part of the house, whereas the security elements are less so.
Mhm. Yeah, and the stylistic aspect of the security door, we tend to, and again, you think about the style in general of the windows and the doors, notwithstanding the security door, they, you know, they're gonna be not ornate, with curlies and things like that. We're trying to have something that's, you know, would look like it would be done in the period. And I actually don't remember what that existing security door looks like, to be honest with you.
I think it is probably like a Home Depot one. I don't think I have a close up on that.
Yeah,
I think the
See,
other
I might.
thing that we haven't touched on is replacing the shingles with stucco. I don't know, since this isn't a contributing property, I don't really know that it's that important to maintain that sort of history of that opening as a garage door. Does anyone else have comments on that?
I don't feel it's important. I actually think the shingles are kind of
Kind of horrible.
horrible. All right, I was gonna use a different word, but I like horrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
I think we want shingles as a siding material.
And then just to clarify, you were going to be taking all of the AC equipment off of the roof and it's going to be on the little side yard?
The evap, yes, ma'am.
Yep.
And it'll be on this side.
Yeah, I
Where's that?
see that on the
The
floor
north
plan.
side. And then I guess, when we think about the north elevation, same comments with respect to the door schedule and the window schedule. It looks like you've got a 4040. With what you have pulled up right now, you have a 4040 slider, it looks like. And really back to
Yes.
what Damon said, geez, now I'm saying it. It's preferable to match, like we were talking about for the front, like a single hung or double hung. Can be wood clad with metal. And then the door would be the same sort of thing, a wood door, but some kind of panel, raised panel or recessed panels, not a slab. And then on that door on the north elevation, are you also proposing that there be a security door, or is that not required because it's inside the fence?
It didn't have one before, so we didn't propose it. So a lot of the funding for this project is for the insurance. And so if it wasn't there, so we were originally indicated to do like for like on all materials, because that's what the insurance will cover. And so that's kind of the reason why we went with kind of like an open spec. But I mean, given the circumstances, obviously we'd have to spec it. So to answer your question, I would have to talk with Mr. Brown and see if he's gonna want a security door on that side. Because if he does, we want to get that approved, obviously through you guys prior to moving forward.
Right.
I guess one thing to add to that is, again, this is just Damon's opinion, but you guys don't have to keep that door on the north elevation. I mean, since it's non-contributing, you have some more freedom.
Right.
It seems a little weird to me to have like two doors into the same kitchen, but if that's what they want, fine. But if they're keeping it because they think they have to keep it, they have some freedom.
Yeah, I agree. However, I think what happens is they have kind of like a communal laundry area within that yard, and so it would be, I guess, a convenience of access.
Okay, yeah, I don't need an explanation. I was just letting you know that you had the freedom.
Okay, appreciate that.
Isn't that door on the north side being created as new? It's not there right now.
No, it actually was there, and I could show you
Oh, I see. You're just making it larger. I was
horrible
looking at
picture of it.
the demo plan. You're just enlarging. Okay.
Actually just shifted to make room for the counter space.
Gotcha.
You know what, there's something else that I think we need to discuss that is important is originally they had a roll roofing material with elastomeric coating, and we're proposing to go back with a shingle to match the main residence. And I think that shingle is gonna be, it looks fairly new. And I believe he told me it was a Owens Corning, and it's one of the H3, which is a historical asphaltic shingle.
Yeah, we're fine with asphalt shingles.
Yep, that's fine. Can you go back though, Gabriel, to the elevation
Yes, sir.
elevation drawings? It's one of the things I wanted to ask you. Yeah, right there, that's fine. Nope, if you looking at the south elevation, or no, what am I? Is there some kind of parapet or something that you're adding? What is the structure that I see, like on the north elevation to the left?
This one right here.
Yeah, what is that?
So that is going to be the party wall. So this thing right here is actually the party wall that separates the other property.
So that's,
That's-
that's existing
That's existing, yes, and it's
Okay.
required.
on the back of the property. Okay, okay, I understand. That wasn't clear to me. Any other questions from the board?
No,
No? I'm not sure. There's a lot of detail that we need to see that you don't really have here. I don't know if we want to try and capture all this in like a motion, or if you want to try a continuance and come back to a future meeting and have all that detail added, or I don't know what the board's opinion is, and I don't know why my video keeps wonking up.
yeah, I mean, I think it can go either way. We ask for the drawings to be submitted and we review them, or we ask for the applicant to return to the next meeting.
I feel like we could probably sum it up with having them just resubmit the drawings to show the detail on the door and windows. Since we're not really looking for anything more than like sort of a clarification on that stuff.
Right.
We're not talking about them being in a new location or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's also non-contributing, so I don't see it being a huge.
Yeah,
I kind of feel the same. I think same thing. The security door, we could just ask for a spec or it to be drawn up.
right.
Yeah, and the front door, like the doors, and just better information on material and elevations of all the doors and windows.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
Do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I can make a motion. This is Rachel Sarah. And I motion to approve as presented with the caveat that we get clarification on the specifications on the doors and windows, including screen doors. Does that cover it?
To clarify, are you continuing it or you're approving it? Because it sounds like you're approving it, but then you're asking for additional materials.
Okay, so
and I'd
then
like-
it's contingent on approval of additional information. How do I say that? Jody?
I would like to avoid what we had at the last meeting with that property on, I think it was 4th Avenue or Street or whatever. That one where you kind of had them come back through, so it was offline that it got approved. We would really rather avoid that. So if you're going to ask for additional information that you want to see, then you should continue this project.
Okay.
Okay, if that's
All right.
better, let's. So do I have to still make an emotion then? A motion?
Yeah, you have to
Project? Okay,
make a motion to continue, and in your motion to continue, I would specifically spell out all the items that you want him to provide.
okay, then I'm going to start over. This is Rachel Sarah. I make a motion to continue this project so that we can get clarification on the materials and elevations of all of the windows and doors, including screen doors for this project. I think that's it.
This is Damon, I second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Hazel
Aye.
Baker, aye.
And Betsy?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Motion carries. All right, Gabriel, you have any other questions for us on what you need to bring next time so that we can just be sure you got everything kind of lined up? It's really just the
No,
details.
sir, that's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. I'll provide
Okay.
the necessary information.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much then.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 4B on the agenda, SD 1222 00010 620 North 6th Avenue. Who's presenting for that now?
I am.
Alex? Okay, you're gonna present.
Alex, can I get your last name real quick just for the meeting minutes?
This is Alex Enoch, Enoch, Cataman Designs. I'm the representative from the owner of the lot, Jose Rincon.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right, over to you, Alex.
All right, so let me pull up. Let me share my screen. All right, so this project's a fairly simple one, I believe. It's got 4 parts to it. It is for a contributing parcel. What we're looking to do is swap the location of an existing window to center the door, because currently where there's the door to entry, it's in a weird location. It's off to the south side, I believe, and it's not centered. And we can't find any existing pictures showing this is how it was previously. We do believe that's how it was, because if you look at the way a majority of houses on the street, they're always centered. The doors are right in the middle. They're not off to the side for some reason. So we believe we're going back to the original settings of the way this was. The second thing is the existing guardrail on the balcony is really deteriorated, and then we're proposing to build it new. We're going to keep it in the same location, but just a new wood with some wood balusters. And then part 3 and 4 were done without a permit. And this was caught by the inspector because the client started construction before we had approval from you guys. And that's because he just took over the space and he really needed to get in there, but he couldn't take over it, feeling like it was going to collapse on him. And what it was is the roof was really in bad shape. So he took off the existing asphalt shingles and replaced it with new asphalt shingles. He did change the color. The original color was like a green, and he actually now installed the light brown color. And then there was some locations around the building that had stucco that was deteriorating that he replaced. But that would be the 4 aspects of this project.
All right, Alex, did you get the note from, I don't know, Jody, who you sent that to?
I did, and I resubmitted it and sent it to Jody. That's what this sheet
Okay.
is. So I have the dimension columns for the balusters, calling them out, and then I also provided the elevation showing the actual finished look of it.
Perfect.
And this was resubmitted as well.
So I think maybe it might make sense to start with the easy stuff. So I don't think we take any exception to the asphalt shingles. Speak up if somebody disagrees. But so I know it's retroactive, but I think we would have approved the remove and replace of the asphalt shingles.
Agree.
Also the stucco repair. I walk by there, so I've seen it. It looks to me like a like-for-like replacement, basically just maintaining the building. So I think we would have approved that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree.
I think the big price, he felt like he didn't have time to wait because he really needed to get into the building. I didn't even know that's what he was doing until he got caught, honestly. And then he told me about it, so we had to drop it on these ones before the meeting. So.
Yeah, so I think we can go on record saying we approve retroactively of the roofing and the stucco repair. I think the next 2 are the harder ones. So I guess the moving of the door, I think we view as kind of a big deal. I think you're making the claim that you're restoring it to its original condition, which we would be supportive of. But I think we'd look for some sort of proof to know that that was the original condition. And I think that what we typically look to for that source of information is the historic property inventory. I don't know if there's any other source of information. So, to be honest with you, it's hard for me. I'm looking right now, but I can't really tell what the historic property inventory image actually shows. It looks like a window to me.
Yeah, it looks like a window to me as well.
There's also a footer in the original or the inventory photo that really suggests to me that that's an original window, because the footer and there's like a footer and then there's like a texture line beneath both windows. And it It looks very original and intentional.
I think when you look, yeah, and when you look at that particular photograph that you're calling up now, that is clearly a double hung window.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so unless you have some other piece of information, I mean, we can talk about it and you can get other people's opinions, but I think we'd be unlikely to approve the moving of the door. Our intent would be to try to keep the configuration of the windows and doors in their original location.
I have to concur with Damon on that.
Me too, I
Okay.
agree as well. This is Darcy.
Betsy agrees as well.
I do
Okay.
too.
Okay, and
I
then
mean, it does
Yep.
seem weird, like you want that to be the front door. Like from an architectural standpoint and from a sort of symmetrical standpoint and all that, and the door itself seems like weird and short and squat, but that's what it was, so.
No, we understand. In the end, his main purpose is because he's utilizing this as an office. And so that space walks into where you can create offices without having to walk through an office to come into the building. So that's that was in his intent to relocate the door. But no, I
Yeah.
fully understand.
I understand, yeah, and I understand his intent, but obviously the reason we're here is to help preserve the original historic character of this architect. And I'm with Damon. I don't see any evidence that that was anything other than a window from the get-go.
Right. Okay. Now I'll see if we can find out anything else. But I know we both searched already. We couldn't find anything on it because that was one of the
Yeah.
comments made early on.
Okay. Okay, and
And then
then,
was the other issue or the other concern was the height of the new balusters? Is that the,
well, can you, Alex, call up whatever you have for a drawing of what the intent is with the new railing?
So this is the existing one. As you can tell, it's
Right.
just the pickets. There's no balusters. We're proposing to replace it with this wood one. Still pickets, but we are going to be having balusters at the corners and the curve. I do have the locations. Basically, I'm looking to match the columns of below. So let me get over here.
yeah,
what-
and that's with the, that
Right
historic hero has that as well.
Right,
So I'm just, as you can see, I'm just matching the columns below, just to keep them above it.
but the columns, I'm sorry, the rail posts, on this drawing you have, you're calling those out as 4x4s? Is that
4x4
right?
is correct, with the decorative wood cap and base cap. I'll be matching what we show in the picture.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at the as-is state, the way it looks today, and those look like 6x6s to me. You don't have a picture in your drawing. I mean, it doesn't look like what you're showing in that new wood railing. What I'm looking at are posts that don't look like the scale that we're talking about. Again, you don't have it. I went by and looked at it a couple of days ago and took a picture of it. And then the posts themselves have recessed panels in them.
Oh, for what he's already put in there? I haven't
It's
even
already
seen that he got it up
installed.
yet. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah,
then
so
let me
what's installed right now doesn't agree with what you're showing us, is my
Hey,
point.
Rick, can you share your picture that you're talking about?
Yeah, maybe.
I have it up too. I can share it.
Okay, Rachel, we're still
What, can I
done.
just ask while we're getting it up, what's driving the change of the railing that was to the railing that's, you know, the current state of the railing design?
The original was, according to the client, it was deteriorated and it wasn't safe to be used. So he had to take it down.
Can you stop
So
sharing
are
your screen, Alex? I'm sorry. It won't let me share until you release sharing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I have another thing I'd like to bring up. So maybe while Rachel's doing that, when I look at the inventory form, I think that the original railing was a different configuration than what the current owner took off.
Oh, it definitely was. It was what the current owner took off was a wrought iron-ish railing. And what was there originally was something else.
Yeah,
Prior to
so I think we should take the position. I mean, had the owner not taken it off, we would have not said anything, right? But now that it's removed and needs to be replaced with something, I think this board would view that as an opportunity to restore it to what it originally was. And so I would try to point to what is the only record that I know of that we have, which is the inventory form.
Yeah, so this is the way it looks today, right now.
Yeah.
I think what his drawing presents, if that's what gets built, would be a good substitute.
Yeah, if it's, yeah.
What does the, I don't, yeah, sorry, I guess I don't want to make you.
This is more like an off the shelf thing, and it's different than what Alex has drawn in the drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and they're really tall and they're really
Chunky.
fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're kind of the wrong style.
They're the wrong style. And actually they don't work with the columns, the scale.
Yeah, those look bigger. They look like they're 8x8s.
8x8s, yeah. They're certainly not
Or
4x4s.
6x6 with all the trim and all that
Right.
added to it. Yeah.
Also, are they wood? They look like they might be PVC to me or something.
I don't know.
All right,
My
well,
intent was wood. My intent was wood. That's what I flagged on the plans originally. And that's what we had discussed. I haven't been to the project site to see you did this, so.
Well, that's what's there today. And I think what you're hearing from the board is this is not what really you need to be looking to. And maybe that is what you're proposing, is to go back to the inventory sheet and the style that was there, which may be more aligned with what you were thinking, but that's not what's actually installed today.
If I know it's annoying to switch again, but I wasn't quick enough to catch what you're currently proposing. Are they circular?
I'll stop share so he can pull it back up.
Yeah.
No, it was square. It was 4x4s with the decorative wood cap.
Okay.
Which, Damon, I think that's what the original was.
Do you? I can't tell from the inventory sheet, but it would be nice to know, because this is an opportunity to actually restore something to a historically correct system.
They do look square to me.
Yeah, they look square to me too.
Really? They look kind of round to me.
If you look at the one, especially on the corner that's not on the curve, I feel like you can see the shadow of the two sides of it. And I don't know. I think the argument could be made either way.
Well, I mean, you guys are the architects. What do you think for this style? What do you think somebody would have done?
Honestly, I think you can go either way.
Okay.
Just because, like, I mean, looking at like the wood dealing around the eave is kind of square. The bottom of the actual columns is square. So I don't think having square would be that.
I think it's square with a little bit of a taper at the top too. So they could get a little bit of angle there. Even on this one, it looks like it tapers at the top.
Yeah, and they are tall, like they are, but I just don't think they're quite as tall as what's there today.
And they're certainly not as
42
wide.
inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also, I will say, anything is better than like the weird little pool fence that was put up there.
Yeah.
At some point.
Is there, do these original photographs exist anywhere? Like, is there a way to get a better image of what it was?
No, we've looked and that's why we couldn't find anything.
I think you can sometimes look in, like I've looked in newspapers.com. You can go to the Arizona Historical Museum and they can do a search for their records, because if there was any kind of historical inventories, you can
I'll be able to check.
Find it there maybe. I was just trying to do a quick Google.
The owner did the Historical Society to do the photo archives. I had suggested it to him.
Oh, you
And-
already did.
They weren't able to find anything. They found the church next door that shows like just a brief corner of this house, but there's a lot of trees in the way and you don't get a very good feel for what's going on.
And then was there anything else we were needing to comment on?
No, I think I'm good. I get what we're looking at. So it looks like denial on the entry, but the railing go back to its original state,
Right.
besides the low pickets.
You can probably get the dimensions pretty easily just with a ruler, you know, the thickness of the patio where the house number is. And just
Mhm.
see how tall those were. They probably are, they might be 48 inches. And the railing, it is interesting. They stand pretty proud of the railing. So the railing might only be 36 or something, but yeah, I think that's what you're really wanting to mimic. To the comment made by Damon earlier, from the point of view of the board, this is, given that you're replacing it, this is kind of what our only record is, what the architect intended.
Understood.
Yeah, I think even just like by looking at how the curve comes around, it's just a little bit below that window line. So that might give you an idea on height. Obviously you want to put in something that meets safety code standards and not go under 36 inches, but
Okay.
So I think where we stand in summary, I'm gonna just say it out loud, make sure we all agree. We're good with the stucco change or the repair work that was done. We're good with the roof asphalt shingles that you've done. You may not move the door or add a new door. I think you weren't, I don't know if you were proposing moving or adding, but in any case, that existing double hung window needs to stay. And then the rail needs to mimic what is in the inventory sheet, the new railing. And the rails, the posts that are there right now are not acceptable.
Okay.
We all agree with that? Before we create a motion?
Yep.
Yep, okay,
sounds good.
all right.
Not it.
All right, is somebody brave enough to kind of throw a motion out there?
I'll try it out. This is Damon. I motion to retroactively approve the stucco repair and the replacement of the asphalt shingles on the roof. We decline the proposal to move the front door location. And what do I say about the railing? I think about the railing, I would say we decline what is currently there. So what was currently trying to be replaced, we think is not indicative of what was historically accurate. And we ask the proposer to come back with a railing that better reflects the historic railing that was there.
Well, I think his drawing does that. So I think if they build what the drawing, like what's presented.
So
Or
I
does it
guess I didn't feel like I saw that enough to think that that was really what was being proposed. I mean, we would ask for a bunch of detail, like
Material, right? Okay.
Yeah.
material.
So maybe,
That seems like
yeah,
a continuance to me
for that one piece,
for the railing. Yeah.
right? Okay,
Okay. This is Rachel Sarah. I second.
all right. Got a motion, a second, all in favor, aye.
All right.
Hazel Baker, aye.
Rachel, I.
McDonald, aye. Betsy?
Aye, Betsy.
Okay, so we have a unanimous, motion passes. So Alex, now that we've got that, the drawing that you have created, that you showed us a little earlier, you don't need to call it back up on your screen. What Damon's saying is that we really need to see on that drawing the materials that are being used, which I think you're proposing, well, yeah, that drawing, oop, the other one. Call outs for the material, and yeah, if you go, you had the drawing up a second ago. The elevation drawing, that one, yes. Yeah, so you're showing, so that you've got the height of the. Yep, there you go.
Right at 36, 42 above.
42
So
above. I
those were
don't,
42, and then the railing was 36.
yeah,
I think we'd be looking for details on material and dimensions.
yeah.
Well, I
So the
have the
dimension-
dimensions on this plan. I did call them out as 4x4 wood balusters with decorative wood base and cap at 5
And-
places.
And the pickets are 1 by 2, you're saying?
2x2s with 2x2s
Oh,
top. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, I'm 2x1s. You're right. No, the pickets are 2x1s, and then the top railing was 2x2.
Wood rail with 1 by 2 pickets, 4-inch, 2 by 2 top and bottom rail, okay. Wood. I mean, Damon,
I'm not sure what else he could call out on that.
yeah,
Yeah, I hadn't seen this until now. So,
yeah,
but I mean, honestly, I don't know. This seems to me like an opportunity to like do some research and really restore something to what would be historically correct. And
right.
I think we should be encouraging that.
So I think what Alex, what Damon's saying is we'd like to see this drawing again, but we'd like, and you've called out the right information on the drawing, but we don't really understand whether or not this is actual representation of what was shown to us in the inventory sheet. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I think we need to call back to that, and I think there does need to be a little bit of research, even if you just take the inventory sheet and try and scale everything off of what you see there. I'm not sure I'm any smarter on where to go get a photograph, given where you've already looked.
Yeah. I'll try and Google a little bit too and see if I can find anything. Like
Hey,
maybe
Betsy.
there's like some kind of photos of historic 6th Ave or something.
Yeah. Betsy, have you been over to where the archives are for all the historic inventory stuff that was done back in the 1980s? That's over at Noah Sensibar's shop.
No, I haven't.
So there's a file for every house, including this one, that might have photographs in it. Maybe. Some do, some don't. It's sort of a crapshoot. So, you know,
How do you get access to those? That just you guys in the neighborhood?
yeah, it's Judy Sensibar, the former neighborhood president, has it in her husband's shop. There's this file cabinet. It's full of what was used to create the application to the National Register of Historic
Oh.
Places.
Yeah.
So all the information that we have is there, which doesn't necessarily mean there's a photo, but we can
Yeah.
take a look. So
Well, it'd
Betsy
be
and
worth trying to see.
I'll see if we can't see if there's a file there.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, so we're still waiting for someone to second this?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Got off track. Damon made a motion. Does anyone second?
I did second. I thought.
Oh, you
I
did?
had
Yeah.
Okay,
voted.
sorry.
Okay, all right.
We already voted too.
We already did? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Trying to catch
Oh,
up
that's
with all
right.
the frantic writing. Sorry.
All right,
No worries.
okay. All right, Alex, you good? You think you understand?
I'm good. All
Okay, cool.
right. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
All right. Item 5, staff updates. Jody, is there any staff updates?
For those of you who have not, or would still like to have training for TDC Online, Tucson Development Center online. They're still doing those trainings, typically in person, like every other week or every couple of weeks. You can go to the PSD website and sign up, should you be interested. We are still in a holding pattern for the separation of the commission. We're trying to set something up with the county right now. But once we have a date for the study session, we will let you know. And I think that's about it.
I have a question.
Sure.
On the training on the website, have you found that to be helpful?
Well, I got different training because I'm staff and I have to do the backside of it. But I heard from a number of other people that they found it to be helpful. It's, how to submit and what to look for and that kind of stuff. And there's a number of people who said it's very helpful.
Okay, yeah, because I've submit a number of things and I feel like there's information in like lots of different places now. And so
Yeah.
maybe I will. You said it's just on the Development Services website?
Yeah, for the TDC training. Yes.
Okay. I'll look into that.
And if I may, this isn't staff updates, but tonight we should have had Jim Glock approved as another member of our board. So he should be at next week's meeting. I don't know if everybody knows Jim, but he's a Luna resident.
He was getting approved by mayor and council?
Yeah, he was on mayor and council's agenda for today.
I know that there's supposed to be sort of like a range of types of people on the board in terms of like residents and property owners and professionals.
Right.
And since we lost Johnny, are we looking to fill another professional role or?
We should.
Jim Glock fell under the special qualifications role.
Oh, okay. All right. But I think, Rachel, so thank you, Jody, for that. I think to your point, it would be nice, it would be good if we could recruit more onto the board. I mean, we're kind of getting down to, we are at a kind of a low level. And it would be nice if we could get more professionals like yourself or Darcy, and we are kind of lean on that. So, anything that can be done. I've put word out at our board meetings, but that's really just catering to the neighborhood. If we can.
Does the professional have to be an architect? Could it be like a contractor?
I believe it could be a contractor, Jody. Is that not true?
Yeah, it could be a contractor. It could be an actual historian. It could be a developer. It could be a historian. It's somebody with that particular knowledge of, and let me clarify, for a historian, it's somebody who's like the knowledge of Tucson or the Southwest. I had a historian recently for another board, but he wanted to go for special qualifications, but his area of expertise is Chinese environmental policy, which doesn't lend itself to like the history of,
Right.
Tucson and Arizona and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty wide range actually. But it's really, or a landscape architect, somebody with that particular knowledge, kind of the area, the species, that
Got it.
is,
I can ask around some of the people I might know that could be interested in doing something like that.
Well, I'd appreciate that. I think we all would. Be nice to get some more talent on the board.
and
So we don't
special
have a lot-
qualifications don't have to live in the district, just FYI.
Right. Like, cause I don't, and Darcy, you don't either, right? Or
Right,
do you
Darcy
live in
doesn't
that
either.
area?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm in Feldman.
Okay. Yeah, so
Um,
Rachel, that'd be very good. Anything else?
I just had a question about future agenda items.
Yes, sir, ma'am.
I got a call from Peter Wilkie this morning, and he is wanting to bring back the historic neon sign for Time Market. And so I suggested to him that he could maybe come for a courtesy review to have a conversation with us before going forward with everything. And he just asked me when and what he needs to do, and I'm actually not sure like what the deadline is. He just needs to he needs to email and get on the agenda how many weeks prior to the next meeting?
Well, is he going to, if he's doing a courtesy review, I mean, ideally you have something, ideally you have something for plans or sketch or conceptual drawings or something like that. Since it's just a courtesy review, I typically just needed like about a week and a half, ideally, prior to the next meeting. He can email me and I can get him on the agenda.
Do you think we need to have him come in for a courtesy review, or you think we can just have him present it?
What does he want to do, Darcy?
He has photos of the historic Time Market sign, and he wants to get that hung.
One on the,
It's not the one that's up there that's just kind of like, there's
No,
an
and I
old-
don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. He said he wants to replicate it exactly, but just make it a little bit smaller.
I think if he has photos, he could.
I think he was mostly just wanting to know, like, is that something we're going to have a problem with? And I said, well, I don't know. I don't think so, but we have.
Do a courtesy review with just photos.
Yeah.
Well, and bear in mind too, with signs, we typically do those as a minor review. But if he wants to do a courtesy review with you and then like he can ultimately do a minor review, that's possible. He can get some overall feedback from you to understand where he's going to go. And then when he's got the plans, they can do it as a minor review if you're
Okay.
comfortable with that.
Okay. I'll just tell him to get his stuff together for a courtesy review. He needs to email Jody a week and a half prior to our next meeting. And
Oh,
we can go from there.
the only thing that I am overly freaked about is attachment to the building with signs. It should go through the mortar, not the brick.
Okay.
And I like to see details on that. I will readily admit to being overly type A.
Okay. Well, I'll tell him to make sure he comes with that for you. Okay. Well, I'll just get in touch with him tomorrow and let him know. Courtesy will probably be best, and then we can go from there with a minor review.
I have another quick question. I have a project coming up for a guest house in the neighborhood. And I've already told the client that they'll have to present, not me. Do I just abstain from that whole meeting? Do I sit out? How does that work?
You would abstain from that item. So you would actually disconnect from the call, and then we can have somebody contact you to tell you when that item is done, depending on what's on the agenda. So you could come back in to the meeting. And then when it goes to PRS, then because you're not on PRS, you're welcome to present it at PRS.
Okay. And then what's the time difference? Like PRS meets twice a month, correct?
Yeah, they meet twice a month. They meet on the 2nd and the 4th Thursday of the month. They meet at 1 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about that? It's the rule that Rachel can't present that because she's on the board?
It's a conflict of interest. And so because she's on the board, and the reason she disconnects entirely is because it can be deemed that she has sway over you because she's a board member or something like that. So to avoid any kind of conflict of interest, she should recuse.
So she's not giving us dirty looks over Zoom.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess not that my opinion matters, but that seems wrong to me. And I'll tell you why. I mean, obviously it would be a conflict of interest to have her like judge the project, but I mean, the issue I see with that is that would discourage architects from wanting to join any boards because then people may not want to hire them because
that was my old boss's issue. He didn't let me join this board until I quit. 'cause he
Yeah,
didn't want
because
two of
people may
us-
not hire you because they don't want to, exactly. So
Yeah,
I don't know if that's like a policy at the city. I would advocate for somebody re-looking at that policy because we shouldn't be disincentivizing architects to be on these boards because without the architects on these boards, it would be pretty rough.
It is, oh, and I understand what you're saying and definitely agree with you. It is generally common practice, even in San Diego, we had that as a conflict of interest. So that the people who were on the boards, they couldn't present if they had a project, which was fine if you were in a bigger firm and had like a coworker who had nothing to do with your particular project, they could present on your behalf. But for the, like Rachel is a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
You know, it is, although you have Karen,
I do have
it-
Karen.
yeah, so it doesn't work out as well for individual architects. But it is, from what I understand, it's something that's usually all around when it comes to boards and commissions. It's not just a policy that the city of Tucson has, it's pretty common practice. It is, and it could be something that comes back if you, so that if she, let's say, presented and then had undue influence on you all shared a mind, whatever, it could come back as a lawsuit later on with somebody who didn't like something that happened to their neighbor, whatever. I mean, so it's really is meant to protect everybody. It does kind of blow about the whole, you're an individual architect and you can lose jobs that way. I get
think-
it and I understand it.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
I
too,
think
like I agree, Damien, with your point, but I also have found that being on this board has given me, like, I can put together a set of plans and a set of documents for the historic boards much easier. So even if I can't necessarily present the project, I let the client know that up front, and it's never cost me a job so far. If it cost me a job, I'd probably start to have more of an issue. But it hasn't yet. It's only been helpful. So,
And it is something that she can't present here, but last night she was presenting at Armory Park. She can present at PRS because she's not on those boards. So it really is just the direct conflict with the board that you sit on. And she can still continue to do work in all the different other advisory boards and what have you.
Got it.
Cody, did you get through all the future items or did you get any future items? I know.
I think everybody else had future items. I don't.
Everybody else did. So-
It's good that they had future items. I don't think right now that we have any in particular that are ready to roll, but there may be some that come up. There is, as a side, I don't know if you all saw it, there's an open house for Capstone coming up at the Ward 6 office.
On Monday.
On Monday the 27th. Yeah. I will not be there. Just so you know. But y'all are welcome to go. And yeah, I didn't have anything else.
Okay. All right. Seeing no other items for future agenda, we move on to adjournment. We have a motion to adjourn. Please.
Hazel Baker, I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Rachel, Sarah, I second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Aye. Aye. All in favor. Okay. We stand adjourned at 7:13 p.m. There you go. You get 45 minutes-ish back. Awesome. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Good night.
Sure.
Good night.
Bye.